it bothered me. And it bothered me for several days. And I thought, well, I'm going to ask her when I get to Sunday. But I saw her on Sunday and I didn't even have to ask her. She just shook my hand again and she said it was a wonderful service. And she says, I didn't know you could direct the choir. Oh my gosh, here I had worried about that being possibly a negative, and it had really been fine because nobody there knew that I was a choir director in Michigan before I moved to Tennessee. So anyway, that made me feel better. But the thing I wanted to say is, people will make remarks and we let them bother us, and that's no good. It just brings us down. We just need to face it and say, well, okay, and just get over it. But anyway, I think my guest today has a really good idea for not regurgitating those negative thoughts, and we're called Dancing to Life, and it's Jerry Wright. He's a veteran dancer and dance teacher from Three Rivers, Michigan. And we are here in my studio today, so I'm welcoming Jerry. Well, come on out, Jerry.
Hello.
Hi, how are you today?
Good, Shelby. First thing I want to do is thank you for asking me to join you on your podcast today.
Well, I really thank you for coming and being with me. I enjoy talking to you a lot. And you know what? I was just wondering, I've heard you say that dancing can solve a lot of our problems. And I just wondered what you mean by that.
Well, actually, the thing that can solve a lot of problems isn't just dancing. There's about 4 things in life that can help us solve problems, like music and writing, as you're well aware of,
Mm-hmm.
and movies, and music, and singing, and dancing, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But all those things they come together during life, and our life works in a supportive way of learning. And like in music, remember the song, I beg your pardon, I never promised you a rose garden along with the sunshine. There's gonna be a little rain sometime. Right there, just those 4 phrases in that song, which was sung by Lynn Anderson back in the 50s. That's how far back that goes. But it's a part of learning in life, and learning to accept things in life, and using music as a support. Another one is school days, good old golden rule days. Reading and writing, arithmetic, dance to the tune of a hickory stick. You were my gal in calico, I was your barefoot bashful beau. There were some days I loved you so, when we were a couple of kids.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I apologize for my singing.
Oh, hey, don't apologize.
It's part of getting old. You lose a lot of things.
Yeah, my voice is now in the basement compared to what it used to be, but that's another story. Dancing, one of the things that I found in taking your class over at the city, the COA, is the social aspect, because I've made several brand new friends and they're friendly. We go away from dance class almost dancing. We feel really good, and it's because the people are there and they are friendly. They are learning at different levels, and so get out and meet people.
The program that Shelby's talking about is, I do a class at the Commission on Aging in Three Rivers, and it's once a week, and it's to the seniors and the residents there, but any senior citizen that belongs to the Commission on Aging can join the class, and there's no cost to do that. It's every Wednesday, 1:30, and it's a half hour long, and it's intentionally a short class because as seniors, you're not as frisky as you used to be, and you wear out quicker. But we have people that have come in a wheelchair, crutches, a cane, and many other handicaps that you have as you get older. But the dance is geared to make it comfortable for all those senior citizens. And that's where I met Shelby and her partner Rick, and we just have a great time for that half hour. And it's called Movement, Music, and Memories. Music, movement, and memories. And that's what it's all about, to keep yourself moving. And as Shelby just referred to, of social life, and met a lot of good people.
Did you know that Rodney was just thinking about not coming back to class? He was invited to join a bowling league with the COA there. So one day he didn't come, and I guess he went bowling. Do you know what? The very next week he was back to dancing again.
Yes, Rodney and I had a discussion about
Did
that.
you?
And he said that he would rather dance than bowl.
Yeah.
And it used to be that he would rather bowl than dance. But that's what happens.
We just had someone type in. It sounds like it was a fun time. And it is. Really enjoyed it. I was just wondering, how do you teach somebody that's in a wheelchair?
Well, naturally, they can't dance with a partner. But they can learn to move their feet with the pattern that we show in dancing, and do it in time with the music and feel it, and they can move their body and enjoy
And maybe
it.
their feet a little bit.
Or they can definitely move their feet within the pattern. Do the pattern with the feet, like the box step, and other steps too as they go. The difference is they can't have a partner necessarily. Someone can kind of wheel them. I've danced with people in a wheelchair before, and I just move them where they got to go, but they can still move their feet and move their body and feel the music and enjoy it.
Yeah, I saw you working with some of them in a class like that.
It's not as fun for those people, but it is fun for the position they are and the phase of their life that they're in, and it's associated with dancing, and it's associated with life and socializing. So there's really a lot of good things that come from joining in dancing into life.
That's why dancing, and why I titled my book. I was grieving. My husband had died in 2016. And then I got scammed in 2017. And then so 2018, I was writing my book. And I wrote that whole thing. And every time I went to get my hair done, the hairdresser would say, "Have you got a title for your book yet, Shelby?" And no, I don't have a title yet. "Well, Shelby, have you got a title for your book?" "No, I haven't got a title." And I'd run some past her, and then finally I finished writing the book, and I went to my usual appointment, and I went in and sat down in the chair, and I said, "I've decided on the title of my book." "Oh," she said, "what did you decide?" I said, "Learning to Dance in the Rain." Oh, she started jumping up and down, and she said, "That's exactly what you've been doing. You've been taking line dancing lessons, here with the COA in Sturgis, and going to the singles dances, all of that." And that was really a big part of my getting over. Well, you don't get over grieving, but it was a big part of my moving forward from being
therapy.
That's right. It was here, and I made all my friends. I had moved from Tennessee back to Michigan to be close to my daughter, and she had a big family, in-law family, but dancing was where I made all my friends.
Well, that's how Shelby and I met. Actually, was at Commission on Aging dance class, and she and her partner Rex do wonderful things, marvelous dancers. And I really enjoy it, and as I enjoy all the people that we have in the class. And to tie it in with her book is how we came to this meeting and my being here today, because Learning to Dance in the Rain, it could be a confusing title, and until you read part of it and know that Shelby's book is about life and relationships and moods expressions and characters, and scamming, of course. She has one of her 3 books that is called Scams. But the learning to dance in the rain, to me, she gave a message, and it suggested to me lyrics from another song that I know. It's help us face the storms of life according to our faith. No matter who we are, God gives us his grace. And
That's great.
that's great. And that comes from your book.
Yeah.
And how the songs and music and dancing really go into life. And so it's facing those storms of life according to our faith. And the therapy that people have to go through when they go through scamming. But I want to focus for a minute on learning, period. Learning in life is one of the biggest things that we do all our life, no matter what age we are or how old we get. And your messages in your book talk about the more we learn about anything, the better our lives will become. And that means humanely and physically and mentally. And there's probably 50 other compassionate mannerisms of life. And when we got together and she asked me to come on her show, it was to talk about these things of dancing into life, and that being a great part of her life. And I know that dancing has really been a big part of your therapy as well. Mm-hmm. And it's a wonderful feeling to see what dancing is for everyone. Everyone can learn to dance.
And also, the word dance is kind of a metaphor, because, well, I've had men say, well, I'm dancing, so what I do, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, what do you like to do? You like to bowl? One of them said, shoot pool. I said, dancing is a metaphor for activity. Get busy. Don't sit on your bottom and watch TV all day long. Then you can't sleep. If you sleep during the day, you're not going to sleep at night. So, yeah, dance means getting active, doing something.
For more than 60 years, I have been teaching dancing. Thousands of people over the years. Mm-hmm. And the men are always the hardest to get to come to dance classes. And many times there's women that will sign their husband up to take the dance class, and he may come the first time or two, but he doesn't want to continue. Those that do continue, it's a wonderful thing, because they work out, they practice together at home, and they go out dancing. So there's a lot of benefits from dancing. And it starts, as I mentioned in the earlier thing about school days, it starts when you're kids. And children, and there's more children now taking dance, I think, than there were years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Where there were more adults taking ballroom dancing years ago. And the kids weren't too active in the ballroom dancing. And now with the children, they take things, classic dance, like ballet and tap dance, modern dance, and they even get into stage dancing and sports dancing and show dancing. Now, what's neat about that is you add adults to the mix with the kids that dance. It includes everyone to do group dancing, like when you go to a wedding reception, and or parties and dance parties, because they all know how to do things like, and I bet you've done the chicken dance.
Oh yeah, I know how to think of it.
And ball in the jack, and bunny hop, and square dancing, and circle dancing, the grand march, which they do at their proms. And then with the parents being able to do those with the kids, the more you do it, the more dancing you do, the more you can learn. And that's like life. The more you live, the more you learn. brings them together.
Right. My mother, she was, she was in her 80s, and she wanted to learn chicken dance, and she wanted to sit at my daughter's wedding. Yeah, and she got there, and she was doing it with everybody. She did it too, and she was having a ball.
Well, I wrote a little poem.
Oh, okay.
And I'll read it here. The more you dance, the more you learn to move with the music without discern. You will smile and laugh with every turn, with no worry that you will crash and burn.
Yeah, that's very good. That reminds me of my friend Jerry, that he was the first fellow I met at the singles dance in Angola,
His name was Jerry?
Indiana. His name was Jerry.
Good name.
Yeah, and his partner had passed away. They'd been together 5 years, and she had passed away probably a year before I met him. But he was still going through depression. In fact, he said he didn't know he was going through depression until he saw a sign in the hospital one day he was visiting, and said something. And he said, well, maybe that's what's wrong with me. Maybe that's why I can't get out and feel better. And so he would go to the dances once a month on Saturday nights, and he would sit there and watch everybody. Well, when I started that one night, I met him. We put our stuff down, my friends and I, on the table, and I went back to get a Diet Coke, and he was standing there. So we started talking, and then we said, well, goodbye, So then he took off with his drink, and I was waiting for mine. And then when I went back to my table, I was putting my glass on the table, and who was sitting across from me but Jerry? So whenever I was new and didn't get a chance to ask me to dance very much, So we sat there staring at each other, and I pointed at the dance floor, and he shook his head yes, and we went out and started dancing. Well, he wouldn't dance fast, and I'm looking out there, and everybody's just moving their bodies are not really dancing any for pattern or anything. And so I said, well, you know what? I see you sitting over there tapping the beat you have to just stand up and move with the beat with your body. So the next time that we went dancing, guess what? He wanted to stay up there and try to do and he did fine. And I would ask some of them to dance. Oh, well, I'm not a very good dancer. Well, you get dancing. And I thought they were pretty good. I mean, they were dancing fine, and it's a lot more fun than it's sitting on your bottom and watching everybody else have all the fun.
You actually have led into the next thing that I was going to bring up.
Yeah, good.
Comparatively, dancing and life, there's really a lot of closeness there. You have to read between the lines, just like you had to read between the lines in the songs we sang. Mm-hmm. But you have to read between the lines in dancing, or feel the rhythm and feel the music.
Let's just dance.
And dance into life.
Right.
So that's it. Talking about learning, we really have to learn about life, and we have to learn about love. Mm-hmm. And a biggie with me is learning to dance into life. That's why my CD came out, a training CD that I have, and because it is all about dancing into life and how it works, how you can learn with a partner, and you develop social skills, and with the attributes of ballroom and pattern dancing. You mentioned that the guys would get out there and they could feel the music, but they didn't move their feet so much. Mm-hmm. And dancing is more than moving your feet. If you have the rhythm in your body, you can learn the patterns, and they'll learn the patterns mm-hmm. to keep the beat with the music. But one of the biggest things is you learn confidence, and you can learn to go with the flow when the dance floor is crowded.
Oh, yes.
with people dancing.
Yes.
And the big thing that kind of sparked my idea on this part of our program together is that you have to learn to lead or follow. And the man has to be the leader in the dance, in ballroom dancing. The way the patterns are designed, the way the whole structure of dancing is, whether you're learning to dance in the rain or whether you're learning to dance on the dance floor, whatever it is, you're learning about life and you're learning about dancing. And there's a real close association there if you can read between the lines. Because as a couple, you learn to dance. And how does that compare to a couple in marriage or a couple of people that are living together or sharing a house together?
Learn to get along.
You have to learn to get along.
Compromise.
The man is not necessarily the leader.
Yeah.
In dance, the man is necessarily the leader.
Wow, that should give him a good reason to take up dance right there, because he gets to be the leader.
Well, for some, yes.
Oh.
For some that are not up to that challenge, that's what discourages a lot of guys from
Is
dancing.
that right?
Because they know that they have to lead, and they have to lead the gal to where she's got to go. And the woman, on the other hand, now get this, the woman has to learn how to follow. Now, what do you think about that?
Oh boy, that's not easy.
Well, that is one of the first points I teach to couples, is I want the man to understand that he has to be the leader. But I want the woman to understand also that he has to be the leader. And she has to be the follower. And so when one learns a pattern quicker than the other, it's not good for the man to say to the woman, "You're not doing this right." Or it's not good for the woman to say to the man, "Well, you're not doing this right." You want to, instead of criticizing each other and trying to teach each other their part, concentrate on learning your own part and knowing what your lot in life is. And that's not good or bad. It's just, it is good. It's not a bad thing.
What I really liked about that was you said that it was up to the man to make the woman look good.
That's the next point.
Oh.
I'm glad you remember that.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
In fact, Shelby, we at one time during our sessions, I had the dancers, the students, write down what they liked best about the dance class and what they were learning, so that we could get some feedback, or I could get some feedback to know how to direct the classes.
Sure.
And you know what Rick's answer was?
What?
Exactly what you just said. He said, "Because I want to make Shelby look good."
Oh, bless his heart.
That's one of the strong points of dancing, and you just mentioned it right off the top of your head.
And what I've noticed when we've danced on the dance, out at the dances, and somebody compliments me, "Oh, you're a really good dancer," and he feels good too, because he knows he made it happen. And I think a lot of men don't realize that either. That okay. My husband used to say, because I was always performing on the organ or the piano or all this, and everybody seemed to know me everywhere, but because I was up there. And he said, "Nobody ever pays any attention to me." I said to him, "Well, but you're the one that makes me good. You're the one that lets me do these things and encourages me." So
Could we mention his handicap?
he was, well, my husband wasn't.
No. I
What,
mean,
a handicap?
Rick.
Oh, Rick, it was whatever you want to say.
Okay. I don't know how many of you know this or not, but Shelby's dance partner, Rick, they've been taking class for more than 6 months.
Almost a year, but
Almost a year. But he's totally blind. I never taught a totally blind person.
I never have either.
And they are good. They are good on the dance floor. They got rhythm, they got relaxation, confidence. And here's some of the things that you can develop by taking dance class. Whether you ever become a star dancer or rich and famous, that's not going to happen to very many people. And that's not the sole purpose of dance. Dance is to learn about life, to learn about handicaps, how to enjoy yourself, and how to have that as a therapy for all the problems that we face. But you learn. coordination. You learn balance. You learn timing. You learn rhythm. We all have a different learning curve. Some learn each of those points at a different level than the other. But by doing it together as a couple, it's amazing when you know who follows and who leads, how it comes together. And then you become consistent and you have more joy and you have better feelings about dancing. And one of my favorite sayings is, dance as if no one is watching you. Sing as if no one can hear you. And there's more to that. But for our purpose today, those are two of the neatest things.
Mm-hmm.
And the better you get at it, and the more you enjoy it, the more you will practice. Do you know, Shelby, that I practice dance every day?
Well, I would think so. I mean, I had to practice piano or organ every day, or singing every day, or whatever.
Well, my wife and I danced all the time.
Yeah.
Over the years. We danced around the world. And we danced in the rain.
Oh, didn't it? You got wet?
Yeah. And we didn't stay out there, but it can happen. But the point is,
we have to really.
I'm thinking about it. So you folks out there in Radio Land, stop and think about it too. Things that you have done related to dance that may not be over 60 years worth. But my wife and I can't dance too much anymore because of her ailments. Knee replacement, hip replacement, broken hip, things like that. Mm-hmm. When you're going through that, having them replaced, you can't dance. Mm-hmm. And she's had complications that she could dance on crutches or in a wheelchair, but it's a hard thing for her to accept after having danced freely. And she's an excellent dancer. Yeah. We just had a great life dancing. Oh, that's a good part of life. So
and you're still dancing.
I'm still dancing.
And we're not talking about aging here today,
Yes, we are. Yeah. I have a lot of people that eventually ask me my age. And I used to hesitate to say anything. Mm-hmm. But now I'm proud of it. And I'm amazed at it and pleased about it, in spite of all the complications. But in July, I celebrate the 18th anniversary of my 71st birthday. So a little bit of humor there. Yeah. And I think you got to have a lot of humor.
Well, yeah, we really do. With the aches and pains and all of that. Yeah. My mother, when she turned 80, I wanted to give her a birthday party. She just, I don't want anybody to know I'm 80 years old. I said, well, Mom, they know how old I am. They're going to figure it out, But we didn't give her a birthday party, but she didn't. She says people treat you differently if they know that you're aged. If you're 80, I don't want that. And I passed my 80th birthday, and I haven't noticed that they treat me differently, because for some reason they seem to think I'm not 80 yet. They still think I'm maybe around 70 something. But yeah,
you do very well.
That's because I'm active. That's because I dance. That's because I get out and meet people. And
you play the piano.
And I play the piano every Sunday. I play. Well, I sing. I used to have a Julie Andrews voice, and now it's more like Garth Brooks or whatever his name is.
Now it's more like Shelby Wagner.
Rick's favorite song right now is I Got Friends in Low Places. He likes to sing that one. I'm getting him used to it to learn the words so he can sing in karaoke sometime, but he likes that low voice. I said, well, I wish I could still sing like Julie Andrews, but she She had problems too. She had surgery.
And it didn't work. She can't sing
She
anymore.
didn't sing at all. And
One of my favorites.
I wasn't singing anymore either till we started going karaoke with our friends. And wow, and those people were up there singing. And I thought, well, at least I'm not as bad as the bad ones. I might not be as good as the good ones, but
I have a career of singing, and I can't sing anymore because my voice is so froggy and it cracks and breaks, and I
I
can't.
think we did okay.
I think
We'll
we did
see what
okay.
it sounds like when we hear the recording.
I'll tell you what my answer to it is. Go to church and sing the hymns for all you're worth, because the organ will drown you out. And nobody can hear you, so it doesn't matter.
That's good.
So you gotta keep that humor.
I try to hear the people singing. I want to hear the words.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, I used to sing, so yeah, I like to hear the loud organ too.
So I kind of dropped off here about practicing and learning, and the more knowledge you get, it's like the same amount of knowledge you get in life. As you learn things and you mature, your understanding is a lot better, and you have to develop all those things by learning about life. And the next part I want to get into this, I'd like to summarize what we've been talking about in support of two things.
Okay.
And one of them is about your book,
Okay.
Learning to Dance in the Rain. And the other is about my CD, which, here's the book right here. Learning to Dance in the Rain. And on the front cover, which there's numerous stickers for awards that you have won. How many awards have you?
9 so far, yeah. And plus I had a very good Kirkus review, which people know that some authors are afraid to even submit their book because they're usually very honest. Yeah, they've got a picture there of my book now. I won second place, a silver medal in Living Now in the relationships and marriage for that book. And I thought, well, they said relationships and marriage. It must have been, I was married for 50 years. Maybe they think I know a little bit about it. I don't know. I don't claim to be an expert. I don't think you can be. But yeah, I'm real pleased with that book. And Scams I wrote this year, and I published it because it's got over 150. Yeah.
Is that in book 3?
150 different scams in there, and there's a whole lot more that's come out since I wrote the book.
Was that book 3?
Well, it's really book 2.
Book 2.
Yeah, but I don't count them because Learning to Dance is in its 3rd printing.
Ah.
This is the 2nd print, so it's all one book. The covers changed. The first book I wrote was half as thick as this, and I was told if I wanted to be a bestseller, I had to make it at least 50,000 words, and that was 23. I said, well, that's easy because I cut out a lot because I was paying by the word. So the first book came out 23,000 words, and then I printed this one. It's got 53,000. I added to it, and then the book 3 I changed the cover on the back to have, so I didn't have to stick the stickers on the front anymore. And they're inside. I won. I was an honorary. A final, what was it? Honorable mention in 2 book fairs, the New England Book Fair and the Southern California. And I was honored with finalists in the Book of the Year for 2021 of the Independent Authors Association. So I'm real pleased. And people are really bugging me. They want to reprint it and market it for me and all that, but there's only so much. So when I say 3 books, it's all this one, other than the first one. The first one is not available, except I've got them. If you want some, email me, Shelby Wagner Author, @gmail.com, and I'll see if I can get you one of those honorary ones. That's kind of, Reader's Digest used to do, what was it, come in condensed version. That's what I call my first book.
Version.
So I added back all the stuff I'd taken out the first time, and that one is the result of it. That one is only available from third party, but they're on Amazon.com. The third part version, like I said, it just has main changes in the back. The scams book, I would like to say, is dedicated to our American veterans. I found a brochure in post office. It said they are even more vulnerable to falling for scams than I am, which is pretty bad. But anyway, I thought, there's a whole 2 through 3 chapters dedicated in the back of it that are about the scams that veterans are subjected to. That's because somebody comes to them and, he's in a uniform pretending to be right here.
Okay, there we go.
Pretending to be a commander or a captain or something, and they tell them to do something. Well, they're going to do it, right?
Yeah,
They're trained to do whatever their superiors tell them to do it. So
I wanted to try to get that up there on the screen so they could see the whole cover of the book.
There it is. And you don't know who's on the other side of that computer. You don't know who's on the other side of that phone. So the best thing to do with the phone is not to answer it. And if you get a message or email that doesn't make sense, don't answer it. I don't answer phones unless I know the number. So
I'd like to read this inscription that's on her book, Learning to Dance in the Rain 2. It says, surviving grief, internet dating, and romance scams. And there's a lot of information in there, and heartfelt truth. And that's something that I wanted to be sure that we brought out in our conversation today.
thank you.
Yeah, have any of you out there ever had someone try to scam you? Or are you a victim of being scammed? Shelby's book gives a complete, truthful story of how she was scammed. Not once, but twice. And it's not only a shocking story, there's a strong possibility that it's going on with you today. You might have a scammer who's knocking at your door, or you might have someone calling you on the phone weekly, or maybe even daily, trying to scam you into something. And they're good. They're
very good.
Their approaches are.
It's getting harder and harder to tell the facts, the real from the false. It's just really bad.
The senior citizens. I told you we were going to talk about senior citizens a little bit today.
I don't know why.
Senior citizens are the most vulnerable of everybody. And there's a lot of reasons why they are. It's not because they're not intelligent people. I mean, people from all walks of life get scammed due to loneliness, failing health, confusion, suffering recent loss of a loved one, or any number of age-related businesses. Losing your mind is losing my mind is part of it. But beware. Okay. Beware. My wife Trudy and I, we're both senior citizens, have experienced several scam calls that went something like this. The caller is always trying to get you to respond with a yes answer so they can record it and use it as they wish. So the scammer says, "Hello, are you there? Hello, can you hear me? On my landline phone, I always ask, Who's calling? The scammer says, "Are you all right?" I repeated, "Who's calling?" Well, that voice came back. "This is Arlene from Pioneer. Can you hear me all right?" That's the fourth time she's asked me to say yes. Never did. I said, "No, and I don't want to. Don't call me again. Take me off your list." And I hung up. Now here's the clincher. That same gal, Arlene, called me on my cell phone 2 days later. I don't know how she ever got my cell phone, right? Definitely didn't give it to her. She said exactly the same thing that she did the first time she called me. And I asked, "Is this Arlene again from Pioneer?" She says, "Can you hear me?"
Oh, gee.
I told her, "I told you before, don't call me again." And I hung up. That's how persistent they are and how good they are. And for especially unsuspecting people. I've known so many people that have been scammed that I could spend another half hour telling you all the stories of people that had been victimized by scamming. Now, 2 or 3 times, my wife answered the landline phone. Oh, and I'm not. I don't know whether I should go over. Let me know when I got to quit. But it went something like, after a long silence on the other end, she answered the phone. And the kid's voice said, "Hello, Grandma. I've been in an accident and I broke my nose." And Grandma, Trudy, said, Who is this?" And the voice said, "Your granddaughter." And Grandma Trudy said, "Which one?" We had 6 or 7 granddaughters. Silence, complete silence on the other end. Grandma said, "Scammer," and she hung up.
Good for her. Yeah, that clock is. I wanted to show the CD that you made. Let's see if I can show it right here. It's called "Dance into Life," and it has I wanted to say that he calls the ballroom dancing is really pattern.
Pattern dancing.
We learn patterns, and then they're called ballroom dances because it fixes up a little bit. But anyway, he's offering this CD through me. If you would like it, email me at ShelbyWagnerAuthor at gmail.com. Just my name, Shelby Wagner, author at gmail.com. And they're $25, and I will get it sent to you. We'll make out the arrangements, whatever. And I thank you for that. It does cost me for the sponsorship or for airtime and things on here. So if you'd like to be a sponsor, I'd like to talk to you about that too. Thank you very much for listening, and I would like you to come back next week. This was a lot of fun, Jerry. I really enjoyed it. Next week is Pastor Carl Litchfield from Mendon and Baroque Church, and we're going to be continuing our discussion about love. I think it's navigating the maze of true love. So please come back again next week, and thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate it.
Farewell, and dance into life.
Oh, dance. Be active. Get busy. Don't just sit around doing nothing. That makes you feel bad.
And read.
Oh, reading is good.
Learning to dance in the rain.
Right. Learning to read in the dance in the rain. We can do all of those, can't we?
Yes.
But yeah, I really enjoy dancing, and I enjoy playing cards too. That's another thing I learned since I became a widow, and I just like to talk. I guess that's why I started a podcast. I like to talk and visit with people. So thanks again for being there.
I like humor.
You like humor? I think you got time to hear.
I got to close. I'll close with one thing. I do this with kids. I've been doing it my whole life with kids, but I'm going to do it with grown-up kids today.
Oh.
So, how old are you? How
As
old
old
are
as
you?
I feel.
How old are you?
As old as I feel. Or as young as I feel.
Tell me your age.
You want to know my age?
How old are you?
I'm 81.
When I was your age, I was only 80.
I think I'm going to stay there too.
Well,
Or I like the other one better. This is my third anniversary of
Oh.
75 or something like that. But yeah. Okay. Yeah, I appreciate it very much. And I encourage all of you to get out and start having fun and stop ruminating or regurgitating those supposed hurts that people have said to you that maybe they didn't mean it at all. And even if they did, it's tough luck. Right?
and what was the word you used?
Resilience.
Resilience.
That's what we want to learn to do.
Be
Bounce
resilient.
back. They said tough. I didn't think I was a tough person, but maybe I am in some ways.
Well, I'd say you're tough.
Oh,
You're tough, but you follow good.
oh, thank you. Bye, everybody. Thanks for listening.